All right, but what I wanted to do is just cover these ideas as different tools for social media that we try to use to get students to think about book chapters or the ideas they're reading as not just something to get an A in the class, but as tools that people are using to try to make advances in the field of learning and education. So we hope that we were able to do that, and we definitely saw some success. We also obviously saw some friction, some pushback from people who felt overwhelmed by all the new technologies. And so we had to try to be more flexible, especially to the students who have full-time jobs and are struggling just to complete courses, let alone learn new tools. But that's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to invite any comments or questions. I'm also interested in knowing what other tools you guys are using, except for Ashley, who would have too many answers.
Actually, I have a question. Other than the necessary hand-holding that you probably need to do with a couple of students who, I don't know how to do this, and can you show me how to do that? How did you kind of rationalize or create buy-in to what you are trying to do? For example, you said you wanted to do social bookmarking, folksonomies in your class. I mean, how did you kind of sell that idea? I mean, obviously you didn't just force it on them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, so one thing is you'll see in the syllabus that there's points associated with their participation. So
okay.
Part of it was kind of imposed.
Yeah.
But it was a contract under negotiation. And so there, for example, in the recent course, we totally omitted the Wikipedia aspect because students felt like, well, yeah, we think this is important, but we don't think we can do it all. And these are the ones that we think are going to be, we're going to get the most return on our investment. And so we kind of scaled back and allowed them to identify those that were the best. And so I think what I will do next time is say, hey, here's a shopping list. These are some of the tools we can use. Which ones are going to be most beneficial to you? We don't want to use them all. But intuitively, people seem to, I think they see the risk, but they also see the benefit of investing in this. Like, there's no getting around the feeling of vulnerability in putting your ideas out there. But I think that most people in the class really valued the feedback they got. The other thing, actually, that we did was we told them that we were not going to give them feedback on the first version of their papers, that would be something that they would have to
negotiate
to do as a peer review process. Right. And so we helped organize that. And part of the organization was building up to that moment using the blogs to comment. We asked them to comment on one another's ideas as well. But I suppose the bottom line was that the big investment was that we argued strongly that you need to be involved in your discipline if you're going to move forward with your doctorate. Like, this is the beginning of your career and you need to launch that. And so these were tools that enable them to do so. And we think they believe that, and partly because we really believe that.
Okay.
So.
Thank you.
Did you receive any feedback about students' own perception of how the practices are changing? Because I like the way you're structuring it, and I see it as a way of shifting them from a more practitioner perspective to a more academic kind of identity. Because my assumption is the students coming for this course, they are largely MOE folks, or they are somehow engaged in practice at the moment, so the academic identity may not be that strong yet. And when you ask them to think about locating their own argument in the field, blogging about the ideas, be confident about the ideas, finding their own voices, these are a great jump for a practitioner. Yeah. I wonder what are their thoughts about this? I mean, that's related to Ashley's comment about guiding the buy-in.
Yeah. You know, that actually dovetails nicely in my interest in game-based learning, because the argument there is that the thing that you need students to do, or what a good game needs to do, is to recruit the learner. Not to push the content, but to bring the person in. And so in that sense, they're really underscoring, like you say, the identity part of things. And so you need people to affiliate or orient to that value system. Like, I'm not doing this so I'm not reading this article so that I can get my credentials, so that I can advance in my school. This is something more than that, although that's important, obviously. Thinking about this, or not even what can these people tell me that I can then apply. It's what can I learn from this in order to innovate, right? So in that sense, it was very much about advancing this academic identity. And the pushback, the tensions that we faced from students were a desire to have more structure. So they wanted us to give more directions and to have a very clear outcome. Now, part of that's not unreasonable, but part of it is that there is no easy answer to the structure question because it really is situated. It depends on their interests and their backgrounds and how they want to move forward, which is not something an instructor can really manage. Just like, you know, trying to deal with 40 PGDE students. Like, this was a small course, it was 15 people. When you explode that to 40, there's no way that an instructor can manage all of that. So we tried to push it back on them, but that's the pushback that we got definitively, was adding more structure.
Is this the first run?
This was the second run, but we did it the same as the first because it was a distributed activity this time. The first, it was me by myself teaching the course, and this time it was 2 people. So rather than asking Kate to teach the course and figure out this new thing, we tried to do it together. So yeah.
I think it'd be interesting to have your own autoethnography of how you use that 2.0 to teach as well.
Yeah, that's
It
that
sounds
would be
interesting to me.